Guys, on this late night edition of War Week Boxing Chats, we're going to talk about TSZYU, Bakram Murtazaliev, Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, David Morrell, David Benavidez, and much, much more. Guys, on this latest edition, late night edition, I should say, of War Week Boxing Chat.
Radvashan Holdings proudly presents War Week Radio Chats with ring announcer Joseph Herring.
Guys, welcome. Happy Monday evening, soon to be, well, it's already Tuesday morning on the East Coast. Guys, I want to welcome you to another edition, fun-filled edition, guys, of War Week Boxing Chats. And yes, we're going to talk about all of that I just suggested, the future of PBC, in which Rick Glazier calls the PBC curse. And is David Morrell, David Benavidez, is that going to come to fruition, guys? We still don't have a date or a site set or announced. And once again, I would be remiss to say that this is all contingent on the health of Al Heyman. Once again, who's going to run or steer the ship? Who's going to be the captain of PBC if Al Heyman isn't able to? No one. Tom Brown's not going to do it. Although I love Tom Brown. He's one of the best matchmakers in boxing. One of the best people in boxing. Good guy. The always soft-spoken giant. But no one, guys, is going to run PBC without Al Heyman. Get the deals. Advise the fighters. No one else is going to do that but Al. So it remains to be seen whether or not we're actually going to see those matchups. And I'm including Errol Spence Jr. and Sebastian Fundora in that mix. Is it going to come to fruition? Well, I tell you what, guys, and once again, I'm going to drop the link one more time. If you guys want to join me for this edition of War Week Boxing Chats, go ahead and click the link. Grab your headphones. Because I tell you what, guys, we've got a lot to cover, a lot to discuss, a lot of nonsense and noise floating out there as usual. And I apologize that I wasn't able to do a show at the tail end of the week because of sinusitis and bronchitis. And they all kicked my butt all at once. So we'll try to reschedule Iceman John Scully this week. We'll also try to do another segment of Thomas Triber. But we're going to feature Rick Glazier and Ronnie Shields on the same evening tomorrow night. We've got to get Rick Glazier in sometime before the World Series starts on Friday, because he's going to lose all radio contact after that. And I can't blame him. This is the first time his beloved New York Yankees have gone to the World Series. I think it's been a 15-year drought for them. And so they're going to compete in their 51st World Series, right? And this time it's going to be somewhat of a subway series with the famed Brooklyn Dodgers, the Bums, right? This is going to be a clash of the Titans. And I, for one, am so thankful that we don't see the wild card representing the pennant, right? This is the way baseball should be. The clash of Titans, the Goliath squaring off. This is going to be a heavyweight fight, guys, and I love this. One thing I do not love, though, is, once again, guys, we talked about, and I want to thank everyone for joining me last night for James Gogie's segment. That was a lot of fun. And I always love hearing Gogie's takes on everything boxing, including the business. And he just blasted Team ZYU, right, for making this decision. And it was so stupid. Once again, a team is set in place to often save a fighter from themselves. And before we move forward, let me say hello to our dear friends in the chat, right? My brother JD Spades, welcome to the show, sir. Good to see you. He don't need nothing. You got no more, and he don't need no has-been messing up his corner. It's good to see you, Jump Tube. God bless you, my friend. And also my brother G Funky. Now look, G Funky knows that often managers and promoters are there in place to save advisors, also to save a fighter from themselves. And once again, Tim Zoo's team really blundered again for the second time, and this one could prove to be, well, probably will prove to be a lot more costly. Excuse me. How many fighters have come back from something like this who aren't named Vladimir Klitschko to become long reigning champions after getting demolished, destroyed, where it wasn't even competitive? Now, let's just face it, after Vladimir Klitschko got thrashed by at the hands of Corey Sanders, another long shot, very few fighters or very few fans expected him. In fact, as soon as that happened, Larry Merchant on the call for HBO said, well, it looks like the next big thing in boxing became the last big bust. And he went on to have an 11-year unbeaten streak as the heavyweight champion, the lineal heavyweight champion. But that's Vladimir Klitschko. How many fighters actually have his character and mental resolve? And let's just face it, the strategy that he adopted from Emmanuel Stewart wasn't exactly the most scintillating in the ring. In fact, most people hated it. But that still didn't stop him from being a massive attraction in Germany, his adopted home area. That's what I'm saying, guys. This guy was a franchise in Australia. And now his team, they're admitting, yeah, this may not have been the best course of action. So all of these guys saying, oh, it wasn't bad matchmaking. Well, no, not really bad matchmaking. But it was terrible management. So his team are now claiming, well, it looks like he's suffering from some PTSD from his last devastating, traumatic, just cut on the top of his head. And you could easily see that in the first round when they had a clash of heads. He touched his head and looked at his glove to see if he was bleeding on the same spot. Talk about a distraction. Guys, they should have had a tune-up after that rugged, bloody fight. They should have had a tune-up in Australia first. And once again, hindsight is 20/20, but come on. And we're not crying about this because I don't care. But it is bad for the health of the sport to see the attractions, the genuine attractions, because there aren't very many big-time attractions and ticket sellers. This guy had become a franchise in Australia. And No Limits, his promoter, his management team, they really screwed him. I would shit can them all. And once again, this is a fight that his dad didn't like. Again, dad didn't like the Fundora fight and is like, why are you fighting in America? For lesser money, where no one cares. That old adage of, oh, you got to come to America to face the big boys if you want to be a star. Those days, that adage is long gone, guys. The American market is nowhere near as healthy as it used to be. So this idea that, oh, it wasn't bad management, it wasn't, but you guys are just crying, bullshit. Even his own management team are like, yeah, we shouldn't have done it. We would have been wiser to slate a tune-up in Australia first. Now, once again, don't take my word for it. Take the word of the champ, one of the greatest 140-pounders of all time. His dad, King CHATS, who said, yeah, I don't like this matchup for my son. I'm going to go there and support him anyway. And you saw his face when he was comforting his son afterwards. It was heartbreaking. But hey, like Coach Gogi says, that's not my problem. My brother Tyrese Bowie, what's up, man? Good of you to join us, sir. There's a link, guys. Click it if you'd like to trade fours, in the word of music. And Joseph S., welcome to the show. Nobody cares about boxing in America. Everyone watching NBA and NFL. Sad to say. Yep. Don't forget about college football on Saturday. Coach Gogi is always very clear in pointing that out, huh? Excuse me while I blow my proboscis, guys. Allergies are killing me here. Now, once again, guys, TSZYU, this is not Tank Davis. This is not Canelo Alvarez. This is not Anthony Joshua. This guy is not, he wasn't, before he came to America, he wasn't really proven against the elite. He had two very strong showings in Australia. Once again, Tony Harrison, who was long in the tooth and who had been partying all week, from what I was told. And Tony Harrison was doing quite well until he wasn't, getting knocked out. And then he fought Brian Mendoza. And in my opinion, that was by far his most impressive and mature showing, TSZYU. And they thought they were ready for the jump to America. But once again, why jump to America? All the money's in Australia for you guys. When have we seen George Kambosos since getting the lineal undisputed title at 135 pounds? When have we seen him in America? Since. You haven't. And why? Because all the money's in Australia. So TSZYU just got his ass whooped in front of about 1,000 people in Florida against a guy who couldn't sell out my living room on a Saturday night that even most boxing fans didn't even know who he was. A guy who had been taking step-aside money for the past 3 years. Why fight him? Now, once again, all fighters jump into the ring and have this air of confidence, brimming with confidence, overflowing at times, where it's downright arrogant at times. Like we've seen it with Deontay Wilder, like we've seen with TSZYU. And that's what your team is for, guys, to outweigh risk versus reward, to have your best interests at heart. Joseph S. also says, besides Floyd Mayweather Jr., these sons in boxing normally don't live up to their fathers because they don't come up the same way. Once again, keep in mind, CHATS. Look at where he came from, old USSR, communist Russia, and he defected to Australia. And he became a huge superstar, going down in history as one of the greatest 140-pounders of all time. Keep in mind, this is a relatively new division compared to lightweight and welterweight. But he will always be regarded as one of the greatest of all time in that weight division. Yeah, that's when you know you're dangerous. You get paid not to fight. Well, that's one way of looking at it. But look, he was paid step aside by PBC because they really wanted to make Castaño Charlo twice. And he received a lot of money for stepping aside twice. And then he received another step aside from Charlo to fight Canelo Alvarez. 3 times for 3 years. Yeah. JD Spades is lurking. Well, thanks for hanging around. You said Tank Davis is a perfect example of a fighter who takes calculated risk protecting the franchise. Well, look now. See, that's why I'm saying he wasn't ready to take on the elite of 54, arguably the most talented, enriched, underrated division in boxing. Like, pick your poison. How do you want to get your ass whooped? Virgil Ortiz just found that out. Wow. A guy like Sergey Boachuk, boy, took me to the brink. I could have easily lost that fight. In fact, a lot of fans think he did. And CHATS, rather than focusing on becoming a better fighter, he was on that road to becoming a better fighter. You working behind his jab, but he had never corrected those terrible defensive deficiencies. Tank Davis, on the other hand, you can turn him loose now. He is ready, more than ready, for anyone in and around the 35-pound weight division. And that's why I'm saying they cultivated and nurtured his deficiencies early on. And they corrected everything. Look at him in his last effort against Frank Martin. Now, Tank Davis, once again, when he became pro, he was a prolific counterpuncher. That's what he did. He was a counterpuncher by trade. And you never saw him taking the lead and cutting off the ring, closing the distance effectively. We saw that against Frank Martin. That's when you know this is a complete fighter now. He is ready for anyone. And now he's ready to be turned loose. And now no one wants to fight him without making a small fortune. Hence the reason why they're rolling with Lamont Roach Jr. Right? Hawker Mustang, welcome to the show, sir. Good to see you, my friend. Joseph S. says, I want that dude who beat him to fight Madrimov. You know what? I would love to see Sergey Boachuk or Israel Madrimov fight Bakram Murtazaliev. That is a great fight. Great job of matchmaking there, brother. But once again, Madrimov, he's got a tough assignment on his hands. But in my opinion, yes, it's advantage Madrimov. Sergey Boachuk is a very good fighter and who's going to throw that volume at you, but against a pocket counterpuncher who's got very good feet, like Israel Madrimov with some crack in his shot. Yeah, advantage Madrimov. But don't discount the heart of a champion. Sergey Boachuk, boy, he's really gotten better over the last several years. And I was really impressed with his last two performances. Yep, Chechnya, built different. Berturbiev, little brother. Yeah. It's good to see Iceman, my brother in Christ. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, Tim is a true throwback fighter, unlike Gervonta Davis. We'll see. Because I can't remember very many all-time greats or long-reigning champions who got their asses smoked like a cheap cigar like Tim Tszyu did. Throwback my ass. Throwback. Okay. I want to see Murtazaliev versus Bud. You know what? I like that fight also. But I like Bud Crawford. Once again, Bud is so smart. He's going to take away that jab by either using lateral movement or timing and countering him effectively. Joseph S. says, I want to see Bud versus Boots. You're going to be waiting a very long time for that, my friend. Honestly, you very well may see Bud versus Conor McGregor in UFC before anything else, or PFL, whatever the hell it is. You may see that come to fruition before you ever hear Boots Ennis's name mentioned with Bud Crawford. Throwback is in a fight, whoever, whenever. Yeah. I guarantee you're never going to see that again from Tim Tszyu. That's why I'm saying, dude, this isn't, yeah, he's not a throwback fighter. Once again, they're going back to the drawing board because a throwback fighter did not, put it this way, in a healthier era. I know what you're referring to. You got back in the saddle and you got back in the ring. If you got your ass whooped, yeah, you got back in the ring as early as 3 or 4 weeks, depending on how bad it was. But you're not going to see that from Tim Tszyu. I'll be very surprised if he even fights the rest of the year. I don't think he will. It's already almost November, right? You may not see him until summer of next year. And I guarantee you it's not going to be in America. So, once again, that throwback mindset, yeah, I guarantee you he doesn't have that anymore. Yep, not going to happen. But guys, look, before we move forward any further, let's start another episode of
Terrible Fan Takes on Twitter/X.
Guys, we're going to start by, here's one from the Boxing Voice, okay? I swear these guys. And this is one including, oh boy. Okay, very good. There it is. Let me know what you guys think of this one, okay?
Can we get a tip as to what network Devin's fighting on?
DAZN was built in the United States on the back of Devin the Dream Haney. But make no mistake about it. The only person.
Okay, first of all, DAZN was built in the United States off the back of Devin the Dream Haney. Is that guy kidding me? Look, I understand that Canelo is Mexican from Guadalajara, Jalisco, right? But I'm sorry, that was their big accomplishment, signing Canelo Alvarez when he was still working with Golden Boy Promotions and Oscar De La Hoya, right? That's what made DAZN in America. And once again, since they lost Canelo, they're still under 500,000 subscribers in the American market. It hasn't been very healthy. Give me one fight that actually made DAZN money in terms of subscriptions or pay-per-view sales that included Devin Haney, in which Devin the Dream Haney was the A side. Tell me that. That is hilarious, brother. Let's keep going, though, shall we? We've got some more to listen to.
At DAZN, when we went over there, was Tevin Farmer respectfully and Danny Jacobs respectfully. And I told Eddie Hearn then, I said that we would come over and by you having Devin and having, the voice of the Haney team, it would reach the community and it would reach the masses. That's proven to be right. Eddie Hearn and Matchroom are kicking butt. So wherever we land at, I'm sure that we'll be pioneering the sport.
Are we looking at 40, 47? What are we looking at?
40 and all of the above. 40 and all of the above, Marco. Obviously, if we go up anything past 40, if it's not a title, it can be at a catch weight, depending on the fighter.
Can we get a tip as...
Okay, that's enough, guys. That's enough. Let me get this asshole off the screen. And there it is. Pardon my French, guys. I'm sorry. He's talking about Eddie Hearn and going back to DAZN. What makes him think that they're going to be willing to give him the kind of money that he's looking for? He already turned down an offer to fight for the IBF title in Liam Perro in Australia, where the money is for that fight. Now, think about it logically. Where would you put that fight if it were in America, which it's not going to be? Because Liam Perro's in the champ, and there's no money in it for him here. Where would you put it? In Las Vegas? Devin Haney's adopted hometown? Has he ever done well in Vegas when Lomachenko wasn't on the card? And even then, that lost money for ESPN. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's why he turned down the Liam Perro fight, because DAZN wasn't willing to give him what he was looking for. So what the hell is he talking about? This guy's an idiot. And honestly, but did Devin the Dream Haney, the voice of boxing in America? Dude, did he do some ayahuasca with Deontay Wilder? Because these guys are delusional. Or are they trading notes with Teofimo Lopez? Guys, once again, DAZN is trimming the fat. So is Matchroom Sport in America. Didn't they just release Subriel Matias? Oh, don't even talk about the Sandor Martin. Now, once again, after getting his ass whooped, Bob Arum was kind enough to offer him $1.7 million to step in the ring with Sandor Martin. They turned that down too. So what the hell is he talking about? Who is in the business right now of paying Devin Haney what he wants? No one. So I don't know. Are you talking about Eddie Hearn, the guy who chewed his ass at the Anthony Joshua fight in front of everybody? You talking about that guy? You talking about the guy who Devin Haney accused of dirty work for not wanting to bid on the Sandor Martin fight? Brother, you're not under contract with him. So what the hell are you talking about? Ryan took his popularity. What popularity? No. Let's be clear on this, guys. What popularity? How well did his pay-per-view do? With what's it called? Regis Prograis, who's going to be fighting this weekend versus Jack Catterall in England. Right? Once again, man, these guys are delusional. It's shocking, actually. It's like, dude, just go away. No one cares. No one wants to see you. Like, dude, Ness is so far up this guy's ass, he hasn't seen daylight for a year. Boxing for Life, welcome to the show, sir. Joseph, seems like it's Crawford versus Canelo in May. No, those are whispers going around. No. Canelo, look, unless PBC is no longer in business, that's the only way that fight gets made. Because if PBC is still operating, they've made Canelo an offer he can't refuse. That's why you hear Canelo, after his last several fights, I want to thank Al Hyman, because they're basically giving him the same deal that they gave Floyd Mayweather Jr. 80% of everything. The parking, the beer, all of the concessions, the merch, the hot dogs, everything. That's why Canelo stated, and once again, I was told this from several guys who work with PBC. That's why you hear Canelo say, and to the dismay of Oscar De La Hoya, yes, if I started my career with Al Hyman, I would be a lot more successful. He's not saying in terms of legacy, because no fighters give two shits about legacy. Not even Terrence Crawford, guys. That's why he's currently talking about fighting Conor McGregor. And guys, make no mistake about this, that has legs. No one gives two shits about anyone's pound-for-pound list any longer. No one gives two shits about legacy any longer. This is a business. You think Tim Tszyu gives two shits about anyone's legacy? These days, no. His stock has plummeted and is devalued worse than the American dollar. Which, guys, I hate to say this, but yeah, we're going to be coming up on hard times very, very soon. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, because I do want to pray this evening. Hope you guys actually brought your prayer caps and your Bibles, because I do want to do that before we go off the air. But we're only 30 minutes in, guys. We've got a couple of hours. I'm in it for the long haul tonight. So if you guys want to join me, I'll drop this once again. Get your headphones on. Click the link, guys. I'd like to chop it up with you, and we can talk about whatever you guys want. I don't believe anyone should be putting tank. Look. If you're going by, it depends on what your criteria is, Hawker Mustang. If you're going by merely resume, then no, I agree. But if you're going by the eye test or what you know to be true in the ring, Tank Davis is one of the most complete fighters in boxing and has proven his dominance at 135 pounds. Once again, no one wants to fight him without breaking the bank. Here's a litmus test, guys. even though William Zepeda has become his mandatory challenger, you haven't seen or heard Oscar De La Hoya or William Zepeda calling out Tank Davis. Why is that? Why is that, guys? Because, yeah, you're going to get your ass whooped. Or, yeah, they don't want to pay you the kind of money that you're going to demand to get your ass whooped. Sean Zattel said it would be a joint PBC and Turkey card. When was this? And what are you referring to? Crawford Canelo? I have to see it to believe it, because once again, here's the problem, right? Canelo doesn't need Turkey LL Sheik. And that's why you don't see Jake Paul on any of his cards. He doesn't need him. He can do it himself. The only guys flocking to Turkey LL Sheik are the guys who couldn't sell out my living room on a Saturday night, but still want to get paid those dollars. Guys who aren't big attractions. Those are the guys who are flocking to Turkey LL Sheik. That's it. So Canelo, that's bullshit. Sean Zattel. Okay. Keep dreaming, Sean. The only way I can see that happening is if, well, Al Heyman retires from the sport. Once again, he's not doing well. Our prayers right now go out to Al Heyman and his family. That's very serious, guys. Hold on real quick, guys. Let me put this out here. Joseph, anyone with tanker, look, stop. Canelo, you have to keep him on your pound-for-pound list. He's by far one of the best fighters in boxing, whether you like him or not. That's just terrible. Chingao. Crawford always chasing the dude. Look, just like Devin Haney, who outside of Turkey LL Sheik is willing to work with Terrence Crawford at this time? No one, because he demands too much money. He's a pain in the ass. That's what I'm saying. Those are the kind of fighters that flock to Turkey LL Sheik. They're excellent fighters, not taking anything away from him. Crawford is still in everyone's pound-for-pound top 3. Unless you don't know what you're looking at in the ring. He is a bad dude, but he's a pain in the ass. He's joined the club of Devin Haney. I should say Devin Haney's joined his club. Royal pains in the asses that no one wants to work with outside of Turkey LL Sheik. And I don't know if Turkey LL Sheik will be able to coexist with Bill Haney. That guy's a delusional idiot. And let's just face it, he's not that good. Let's stay on Devin Haney for a second, guys. In your opinion, who can Devin Haney realistically beat at 40 or 47? I'll wait. Let's say hello to our dear friends in chat some more. And Suzanne, welcome to the show, sir. Good to see you, my friend. And he said, PBC won't dare put Tank in with De Los Santos. Who the fuck wants to put anyone in the ring with that stinker Edwin De Los Santos? No one. No one. He's not a big ticket seller. He's got some crack in his shot, and he's boring as all get out. Can you imagine a fight with Tank Davis? 2 counterpunchers with power, stinking out the joint, just staring at each other, waiting for the first guy to throw, waiting for their opponent to throw the first punch. No, thank you. Well, Zepeda should not know. No, of course not. He's unproven. He's never even become champion. He's never fought anyone with a pulse. And if you think that big stiff from Chicago was anything, yeah. Yes, I love Pro Box TV. I think their product is absolutely great with what they're doing. Now, keep in mind, guys, they are basically the island of misfit fighters, guys who aren't signed to major contracts with any major promoter. And they're matching them up, doing great job, great fights, great product. I just want to know why they chose to locate and make their home base in Florida. They should have put it in a much healthier market. If they're going to be able to come up with a fight card every single week, they should have put it in a much bigger, healthier market than Florida. Chingao, like, honestly, we're staging a show on November 23rd in San Antonio. That's going to feature have more fans in attendance than any of these Pro Box cards. It's like, dude, they should have put it in San Antonio or Houston or Dallas, anywhere in Texas where it's a much healthier fight market. CANELO only sold pay-per-view with triple. Okay. Look, let's just face it, guys. No one has been selling big-time pay-per-views since Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis. That's true. AJ went with Turkey LL Sheik. Yeah, he's a heavyweight. And Turkey LL Sheik is paying him a shit ton of money, making an offer he can't refuse. Once again, I'm excluding all of the heavyweights. Guys, the only reason why we saw that great light heavyweight showdown last week between Beterbiev and Bivol is because of Turkey LL Sheik's money. And why? Because both fighters understandably wanted to get paid for the biggest challenge of their career and the biggest showdown of their career for all the marbles at 175 pounds. They wanted to be compensated for it, and no promoter was willing to do it because neither guy sells. So that's what I'm saying. But heavyweights are excluded. They also have Tyson Fury getting ready to fight Usyk, and my brother Thomas Triber, he's flying out tomorrow for a press conference for Usyk Fury 2. It's going to be staged in London. How do you like that? And he's going to stay there because he's going to be doing the ring announcing for the Golden Boy show coming up on the 16th of November. So he's going to be gone for another month outside of the country. Gosh, that poor guy, right? Anyway, I love Thomas. He's one of the best guys you'll ever meet in this business. And he's, in my opinion, quickly becoming, if not, has become one of the elite in terms of ring announcing. He's a great guy. And he always he's the consummate professional. And he's going to be coming back at the 23rd to do the ring announcing for our show in San Antonio. It's always a joy to be able to work with Thomas. Double T. I thought the promotion was lousy for yes, it was. That's what I'm saying. Why the hell did Tim Tszyu? Why did Tim Tszyu actually insist on fighting in America when there was nobody interested? I had forgotten that fight was going to happen until I was reminded by my brother Ronnie Shields, who insisted on Tuesday night show. We're going to talk to him tomorrow about it, saying, yeah, guys, this is a tough fight for Timmy. Like, I wouldn't have picked on this guy. He said, this isn't going to be an easy task. And he was right. Once again, we love that trainer's eye from our brother Ronnie Shields. We're going to talk to him tomorrow. Is Al Heyman and Richard Schaefer on good terms? I have no idea. I know that Floyd and Richard Schaefer are on good terms, and they're working together again. But Al Heyman, I don't know. Al Heyman seems to wear out his welcome to most people in this business. And I'll be honest, though, every single time I've worked a PBC show, they've always treated me extremely well, better than everybody else. I will say that. And it's a joy to work with a lot of people at PBC. But once again, I don't care. I have a good relationship with most in this business. Treetop Boxing, welcome to the show, sir. Salute, Joseph. Any truth to the rumor of Jermell Charlo versus, yep. What's his name? Not Abel. His brother, Jesus Ramos. Yes. That looks like it very well may happen in Houston on the undercard of Tank Davis. Yeah, that very well may happen. Also, what's going to happen is brother Jamal on that card with Cornflake Lamana. Yes, Devin Haney is totally cringe now. He's a prima donna bitch. And honestly, I'm so sick and tired. So sick and tired. Yeah, that's it. Well, Charlo Ramos may end up, and I'm not sure about that, but it may, in fact, end up in Houston on the undercard, possibly the co-main event of Charlo Ramos. I mean, Tank Davis Roach, right? And by the way, guys, what do you think of Devin Haney migrating to the Wild Card Gym and employing Freddie Roach as head trainer? Is it going to help? Is it going to help? I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. Unless he is capable of making this guy a man mentally, it ain't going to do two shits of good. As soon as he tastes that hard leather from someone who can actually punch, forget about it. He's going to mentally fold just like TSZYU. Do you know what happened? Do you happen to know what Car Turkey and Eddie Hearn secretly talking about in February? Yeah, it's another 5 versus 5 in February, and it's going to be in the main event of the evening. And I can tell you this with great certainty: the main event of the evening, and once again, it's another Queensbury Matchroom 5-on-5. And I wasn't supposed to say anything, but I'm going to tell you. It's going to be the rematch. Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois in the main event, 5-on-5 once again. Isn't that great? So yeah, you heard it here first, brother. I love it. I love it, man. And Jesus said, Joe, supposedly Australian people want him to fight in the U.S. Who the hell? Dude, bullshit. Bullshit. Why would you want to... Look, why would you want your guy to go into foreign territory in front of a moderate crowd for less money? Bullshit. Now, I'm sorry. Once again, I'm a huge fan of the Dallas Cowboys. Do I really want to see my Dallas Cowboys play at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia? Hell no, that place is shit. I would much rather see the Cowboys play all 17 games at AT&T Stadium. Why the hell would I want that? That's a load of crap. Hey, Paco, good to see you, my friend. Iceman, Joe, is that what you want to bring to? Is that what you want to do? Be a ring announcer or commentator? Look, I don't care. As long as I'll be involved in the boxing business one way or another, either working with fighters individually, as a manager, advisor, or being a matchmaker, or being a promoter, being a publicist. Look, I've even DJ'd events when Thomas Triber is the ring announcer. I'll do whatever it takes to make the show work, right? And a lot of what I do is behind the scenes when it comes to fight cards. Like, I'm the guy who goes out and solicits sponsorship for all of these events. And I'm currently working on several deals that will hopefully come to fruition later this week or next for our show on the 23rd. So yeah, I'm down to do whatever it takes. And I'm going to be doing commentary on that night as well. But yeah, it's funny. Thomas, he often jokes, man, the reason why you don't get these big assignments is because, man, you talk too much shit. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Yeah. I love Thomas. He's such a great dude, man. And, he deserves, more than deserving of all the success that he's been getting. He is such a class guy. And I couldn't be any happier for my brother Thomas. And he's put in the work. He's put in the years, man. He's put in the hours. And he is, he's really paid his dues in this business. And the fact that he's getting all of these great assignments, I couldn't be any happier for my brother. Good going, Double T. Love you, brother. Hold on. Let's see. Tim versus Background is best versus best. So make ASAP. That's what boxing needs. No protection. No. Okay. All right. Who's going to pay for it, my friend? If Turkey Al Sheikh is down to pay for all of that, yeah, fine. But once again, dude, how do you actually make attractions in this business? Once again, we don't promote the brand like UFC does. Do you know how long it takes to create a legitimate attraction like Canelo Alvarez? You give me an era in which the sport, over the past 60, 70 years, in which the sport didn't thrive on its biggest attractions. I'll wait. Give me an era in which the sport didn't thrive on its big, iconic attractions. Give me an era over the past 60, 70 years. You have to go all the way back to the 40s and 50s. And even back then, you had Rocky Marciano. Joe Louis. Come on now, guys. You guys are living in fantasy land. This is not the UFC, in which they promote the brand and not the individual fighter. Joe, how much money did Bakram make versus Tim receive? I don't know, but Bakram, I'm sure, made less than $500,000. You know, I like the ring announcer of Top Rank. Look, he's obviously young and he's not as polished as Jimmy Lennon or Thomas Triber, but he's solid. He's got a great voice and he's got a really powerful set of lungs, and you can tell that he's a singer. Boy, he pushes a lot of air, man. But guys, you ready for another one? Hey, welcome to the show, Hashface. Good to see you, man. Guys, once again, I'm starting to feel a little lonely. No, I'm not really. Thank you guys for keeping me company and hanging with me. And we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So keep the comments and questions coming, my friend. My dear extended family. Guys, let's do another one of these.
Terrible fan takes on Twitter/X.
Yeah. Oh, Chingao. Let's do this, guys. Hold on. Oh, boy. Here goes another one. Let's see. Hold on, guys. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I don't want cookies. Hold on, guys. Let me wait till this.
That's the build the
Okay.
profile fight. You know, you fight Conor, you build the profile, more people know you now. Floyd made $280 million to fight Conor. Conor's out here on video telling Bud a couple of $100 million. I would start doing some wrestling too. Ain't no fight. Think about it. Ain't no fight he gonna get even $100 million. But if they could come up to anything close to that for him to get in a sport he doesn't participate in, you justifying it. I'm just saying it's a lot of money, bro. Nagano made like $50 million to get in a sport he never got in. He ain't Bud. Bud is the elite of the elite. Nagano was just like a heavyweight. He wasn't John Jones.
Let's hear that again from the beginning, guys, because there's a lot to discuss on this terrible fan take. And yes, it is terrible. Two guys who don't know feces about the business.
I don't know, Bud. Yeah, Bud, come on, go undisputed at 154, bro. What's up with this fighting Conor? That's that turkey out of cheek.
That's the build the profile fight. You know, you fight Conor, you build the profile, more people know you now. Floyd made $280 million to fight Conor. Conor's out here on video telling Bud a couple of $100 million. I would start doing some wrestling too. Ain't no fight. Think about it. Ain't no fight he gonna get even $100 million. But if they could come up to anything close to that for him to get in a sport he doesn't participate in, you justifying it. I'm just saying it's a lot of money, bro. Nagano made like $50 million.
No, okay. Okay, that's enough. Chingao. Guys, look, this fight very well may, in an MMA fight, this guy, he very well may, because this is his biggest money option. Let me tell you, unless something terrible happens to Al Heyman and PBC is no longer in business, that's the only way you will see Canelo versus Crawford at this time. And yeah, Iceman has the beat. Everyone is Mayweather these days. Yep. Everyone is Mayweather without being Mayweather. Agreed? Because there's no money in that. Dude, who the hell does Crawford think he is? He has been delusional. That's why W.A.W said what he said. Not because he's racist. Apparently, you can't convince Darren Crawford of that because he's a delusional idiot, just like Devin Haney. He thinks just because he's one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the sport, he automatically thinks that's going to equate to big dollars. Guys, it doesn't work like that. Do you guys know who the greatest jazz musician is? The greatest jazz guitarist alive right now? Do you know who that is? That's Larry Carlton, guys. Have you ever heard of him? No. And I tell you what, he's playing clubs at this time. While Taylor Swift, a much lesser accomplished musician by far, is selling out stadiums. Bad Bunny is selling out stadiums. While Larry Carlton, one of the greatest musicians of all time, one of my personal heroes, is playing clubs. Guys, and boxing is once again run almost identically to the music industry. Just because you were one of the elite in terms of performance, that doesn't make you one of the biggest monetary attractions by far. And Crawford is delusional, demanding over $17 million to fight Madrimov. How did that work out for Turki Al-Sheikh? He lost his ass. Did you notice? No, you probably didn't, because the cameras didn't want to point anywhere near this. But I was told by several people, including my brother Thomas Driver, that everyone started leaving the arena or the stadium after Eminem played. What does that say, guys? What does that tell you about Terence Crawford's ability to draw? Not good. And this is a guy who's going to want weight restrictions on Canelo Alvarez? Not a chance. Gee, Funky. That's hilarious. Hey, let me ask you. Yeah. Oh, man, bite your tongue, Iceman. Who's that guy? Larry Carlton? Man, look him up. Also, my brother George Benson. Oh, he's one of the greats. Not only has a smooth as silk voice and a great songwriter, but man, he is one of the greatest guitar players to ever live. And he's another one of my heroes. And G Funky knows he plays guitar also very well. Hashface boxing. At least Crawford can fight. That means nothing in terms of business. That means nothing. Guillermo Rigondeaux, he could fight his ass off too. And for many years was considered among the pound-for-pound greats. And he was dropped by every single promoter who tried to work with him, including Frank Warren, Bob Arum, everybody, because he couldn't sell shit. He couldn't attract flies to shit, couldn't sell out my living room on a Saturday night. That means nothing in this business. But yes, you're right. Haney has lost the plot completely. He sucks. No. Look, let me take that back. He's a very good fighter. But it doesn't help that he can't punch and his chin is shit. BB King, another all-time great. Good call. Yeah. Yeah. Iceman. Look, from what I was told, they lost a lot more than 10 million, brother. Closer to 20. Harry Greb. Yeah. Harry Greb entered the chat. That's an all-time great in boxing there. Hatchface boxing. Iceman versus... Well, I don't know what that is. Yeah, I knew you did. Yes, Ness is indeed a fanager. He's a manager who doesn't know shit about the business. Boy, he would work well with Tim Tszyu. He would work well with Devin Haney. They were handing out free tickets in Guadalajara for Ryder versus Canelo. Government, but look, yeah, and we called that on this channel. We're like, look, you're going to have a hard time. If you want to sell pay-per-view, you've got to get the mainstream press on board. Now, who's going to want to fly into Guadalajara from the mainstream press in America? Not very many outlets. That's why he didn't do well. That was his worst-selling pay-per-view since Liam Beefy Smith, guys. And that's a fact. That was his worst-selling pay-per-view since Liam Beefy Smith. Ryan Garcia was about to become a big star, but then he got knocked out. Look, has it done all that much to hinder his level of attraction? No. In fact, this guy is like the Donald Trump of boxing. No matter what you try to do to hinder his popularity, he's like Teflon. He seems to get more popular by the daily. Uh-oh. Here's a quote from Terrence Crawford. I'm sitting at the I'm sitting at the table with the high individuals. He's delusional, guys. Why do you think PBC was like, oh, yep, let's start building Errol Spence Jr. versus Sebastian Fundora? Because Terrence Crawford wasn't an option. They don't want to have anything to do with Terrence Crawford. He's a big pain in the ass. In fact, the only reason why that fight with Errol Spence happened was because of Steven Espinoza and Showtime willing to go through with that belabored, terrible negotiation, which took over a year and a half. Do you guys forget about that? Let's hear this, Trump. These guys fight maybe once a year. That suspension means nothing. Yep, that suspension means nothing. This is why Tank Davis will never fight real opposition. Well, it's not for a lack of effort. Give me someone. No, once again, we'll go through the list, guys. You want to hear give me someone who you want him to fight that's not going to want to break the bank. Right? Let's pull up the rankings. You tell me who's available and he could have fought in December. Who's not going to want a small fortune and want $10 million to fight Tank Davis. Okay? And once again, put your comments in the chat, guys. Who is Tank Davis currently avoiding at 135 pounds? Shit. This is a bunch of crap, guys. But, man, once again, I don't care. I don't like Tank Davis. On a personal level, I don't care for him. I love Coach Calvin. He's a great guy. But Tank, yeah, I don't think he's good. He's a good representative and ambassador for the sport of boxing. And who would, guys? Once again, Lomachenko, they tried to make that fight. Lomachenko said, nope, not interested. And I can't blame him at his age. I can't blame him. He's going to get knocked out if he fights Tank Davis. William Zepeda. Once again, he's going to get smashed if he fights Zepeda. And have you heard Oscar De La Hoya and Zepeda calling him out? No. You hear them calling out Shakur Stevenson. And once again, Shakur Stevenson, oh, is he interested in fighting Tank? Look, if he was set to make $5 million versus Joe Cordina, how much do you think he would want to step in the ring with Tank Davis? Probably 3 times that amount. That's not going to happen, guys. Ivan Baranchyk. What about Ivan Baranchyk, guys? Once again, no one cares about Ivan Baranchyk. He's an awkward style that's not going to sell any more pay-per-view units. How about Murataya? He's a fighter that is, he's good. He's a number 6th ranked lightweight in the world, but hasn't looked great in his last 2 fights. I don't think Bob Arum is all that keen on that fight. And once again, that fight wouldn't sell anyway. How about Keyshawn Davis? Well, he's growing up. We'll see how he fares in this next fight. Should be an excellent fight. And, it's going to be a tough fight. Andy Cruz. How about him? Talk about someone who couldn't sell. And he would get smashed by Tank Davis. Who else? Who else, guys? Who else? Shit. Platypus man. Oh, guys. Yeah, let me pull this up, guys. Once again. Platypus man. Now, he blocked me, so I can't pull up his post. But here, let me just say this. Like, he was trying to poke fun at guys who were saying, like Sergio Mora, someone who's been in this business. And I worked with Sergio Mora before. I'm not going to go into that, but G-Funky knows. Let's do this again.
Terrible fan takes on Twitter/X.
Now, I don't care what you guys say. That's a brilliant Kenyan accent I just did. Yeah, I know it's bad. Anyway, Punch Drunk Boxing, I call him the platypus man, right? Because look at his eyes. They're on both sides of his head like a platypus. Like, all he needs is a duck bill, and he looks like a platypus. Right? Almost like, what the hell, man, happened to his eyes? Right? Where his eyes look too far apart, right? So he's poking fun at people like Sergio Mora in this business when he's never been in this business and doesn't know it. Wouldn't know if it sat on his face. And he's poking fun at the idea that this was terrible management by TSZYU's team and bad matchmaking. He said, oh, quote, Fury losing to Usyk was bad matchmaking, LOL, especially after a grueling fight with Francis Ngannou. He's poking fun at that, saying that that's a correct analogy. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Lomachenko was calling out Tank Davis back in 2000. Yeah, that's right. And they were smart enough not to take that fight back then. They saw what had happened to Gary Russell Jr. Right? They're like, well, wait a minute. We're not effective aggressors at this point. We need a lot more work to do. And Floyd was wise enough to say, no, that's all wrong for you at this time. Maybe later on down the road. So once again, they tried to make this fight this year. How old was Tank Davis back then? You can't even bring that up at this point. That's ridiculous. Floyd Schofield, man, he's got his hands full on November 2nd, guys. This is going to by far be his toughest test to date. Floyd Schofield is not ready for Tank Davis, and even his dad would admit that. Lopez would fight Davis. Lopez who? Are you talking about Teofimo Lopez? Of course he would, but he would price himself out. He would want that fight, but he would also want $20 million. This is the same Teofimo Lopez, guys, that priced himself out of a fight with Ryan Garcia. Do you know why we saw Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia? Because Teofimo Lopez priced himself out. That's the only reason. Because they knew Devin Haney was a pain in the ass to work with. But guess who was a bigger pain in the ass? Teofimo Lopez, who is now in a contract dispute with Bob Arum. Something fishy with that contract for Lomachenko to fly in from Ukraine to sign it, then all of a sudden not sign. Look, he wasn't happy with Tank Davis not being happy with the money that he was offered and wanted more. He had just been through shit with George Kambosos He had just been through shit with Devin Haney. He was like, you know what? No. I'm not going to deal with this anymore. That's what I was told. I'm not going to go through this shit again. I agree. Yes, that's my Kenyan voiceover. Look, I do all of my own impressions on this show. I don't use AI for anything. Only the non-talented, uncreative idiots use AI. They have to, right? So, like, here's my Floyd Mayweather Jr. impression.
Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for fact or fiction.
And here's my Ricky Hatton impression.
How we doing, love? It's time for Goga's mythical matchups. And no, I'm not making a comeback. Oh, you can't afford me, can you?
Yeah, that's my Ricky Hatton. So, yes, I do all my own impressions. Yeah, I love doing voice characterizations, but I'm a little sore with AI, and that's why I refuse to use AI on any of my videos or projects. I use my own voice because they stole all of the work that I was doing with voice characterizations because they could do it faster and more accurately, right? And it's much cheaper, apparently. So, yeah. Because what I was doing the most business with and the most I guess the most requested voice to do like commercials and ads and stuff like that for me was always Morgan Freeman, right? Same Watson L. Either get busy living or get busy dying. That's damn right. I used to do Morgan Freeman for a lot of ads. Yeah, I do all of my own impressions. So yeah, so that's it. Thank you for pointing that out. Oh, dude, you know what, G Funky? Yeah, my Ricky Hatton. Yeah, Hardy Har. It sounds like Phil Collins. Yeah, it does. Jetty Atlas. You know, it's funny. I remember back when I was doing the old radio show on Eastside Boxing called The Pugilist Corner. I once tried to screw with everyone, pretending that Teddy Atlas called into the show and was threatening to kick my ass. Hey, you know, Heron? Hey, don't give me any more lip. I'll reach right through that phone and strangle you, you bastard. Hey, Ben! He's got to put some flies on the windshield. He's got to put some bugs on the windshield. You got to put some water in the basement. Yeah, Teddy from New Jersey. Tank Davis Lobo. No. He wanted more money. He didn't like it. Wasn't his money. It was ESPN's money. That's why he went to. That's why PBC, because the Tank Davis pay-per-view, his last one. Huh? Oh, hold on. That's a good question. That's my son. Here, let me play you. And that's right, in the tri-state area. Ben! Yeah. I love doing the Teddy Atlas one. One of my favorites that I do is that I don't get to do enough, and because I feel kind of bad about it, is excuse me, is Floyd Sr. because he's got dementia, like really bad right now. And all prayers, guys. Let's say prayers for Floyd Sr. and wish him well. He's a great guy, and he's boxing through and through. And yeah, he's having a very difficult time. And our prayers go out to Mayweather, the entire Mayweather family. But yeah, I will always love that fight with Ricardo Mayorga, where Floyd was getting pissed and chewing Oscar's ass. Man, sit down, man. Look, man, you could have had this boy out of here by now, man. Use your fucking jab, man. I love that. I absolutely love Floyd Sr. And I met him when I was doing some work with Mickey Bay Jr. And Yeah, I knew he was not in the best shape back then, and now it's like, yeah. Geez. So, guys, keep him in your prayers. So, guys, at this point, we've already been in for an hour and 10 minutes. Let's take a little break and do an ad over my latest video regarding God's Perfect Love, my new channel, guys. And the address is right there on the ticker, youtube.com/@Holy Trinity -JC1. And let's take a minute break.
If your heart feels heavy and lost, Isaiah 51:5 is here to lift you up. Let's dive in. Isaiah 51:5 says, "My righteousness is near, my salvation has gone forth, and my arms shall judge the people." It's a powerful reminder that God's justice and salvation are always within reach. When life gets overwhelming, remember that His arms are strong and ready to support us. The verse tells us that even the distant isles, the farthest corners of the world, are waiting for His salvation. They trust in His mighty arm. So, no matter where you are or what you're facing, know that there's a divine plan at work. Keep your faith strong and your heart open, because His righteousness is near and His salvation is here. Trust in His promise, and let that hope light your path.
Guys, thank you for watching that with me. And once again, if you haven't already subscribed, please do that at this time. And I drop a new video every single morning so we can start our days properly in prayer and study scripture. So, guys, if you want to further your relationship with the Holy Trinity with me every single morning, please subscribe to my new channel. And guys, if you didn't know, that's my imitation when I do my narration voice. That's my imitation of Leah Schreiber from HBO Sports, right? This has been a presentation of HBO Sports. That's the narration voice that I do, right? And so, yeah, I very seldom do any of my voices, right? Do my own voice, rather, when I'm doing anything. Like, very seldom are you going to hear me anywhere else besides when I'm doing commentary. And you know what I wish? I wish I could once just do Pat Summerall for a boxing match. But I can't. It's too slow. Like Pat Summerall, if you remember when he was at John Madden, Pat Summerall was always he made the most out of every call with the least amount of words I've ever heard from a commentator. And it's Aikman back to pass. He sees Michael Irvin. Touchdown, Cowboys. And when you think about it, he really didn't say much. And I wish I could give a call, right, in boxing. And it's Tim Tszyu getting his ass smoked like a cheap cigar by Backrum something. I wish I could do that, guys. That would be so cool. And this fight is brought to you by your nearest True Value Hardware. And immediately following the fight, it's going to be murder, she wrote. Or if it's on Fox. And immediately following the game, it's the House of Buggin' with John Leguizamo, except on the West Coast where you'll see The Simpsons. Dude, I wish I could call a fight with doing Pat Summerall's voice the entire time. Or someone like Milo Hamilton from the Astros. I used to always love listening to Milo Hamilton on the voice of the Houston Astros for over 30 years, right? And whoa, that one's a bit outside. I love baseball announcers. They're the very best. Vin Scully being the best. And no, I would never try to do the legend Vin Scully. God rest his soul. It's a slow roller to first. Behind the bag. It gets past Buckner. Vin was the very best. He's still making fun of my Ricky Hatton, are you? Hey, how we doing, love? Oh, jeez. Yeah, man. Pat Summerall was my favorite. He was one of my heroes. And you could always hear him getting hammered. Guy who was look, I like, honestly, I've tried to do Marv Albert, but it always hurts my throat because he's very hoarse, right? I can't do that and still work. But you know what? I'll try to bring that one out because one of my favorite boxing announcers back in the day, and I just saw with my light heavyweight fighter, Rob Gonzalez. We just saw the ending of what was it? Izzy Vasquez versus Rafael Marquez. Because he was asking me a question about, he was pointing to Tyson Fury. Did the referee make the right call against Usyk in scoring that a knockdown? Right? And I said, well, let's look at a precedent. And you look at the end of the fight, and yeah, the ropes were the only thing that was keeping it from being a knockdown. The referee absolutely made the right call. But yeah, Steve Albert was making the call with Al Bernstein. Oh my. And if you go back and look at that, I was laughing a lot because Steve Albert or Al Bernstein goes, and all he needs is a knockdown and he could easily win this fight. It's coming down to oh my. And he says it again. What kind of asshole, right? What kind of asshole calls a fight and says, oh my, during a boxing match? Like seriously. Oh my. That's not what you expect to hear from any commentator in a boxing match. Chief Funky. Hey, Father Carmine. Hey, yeah. Hey, how you doing? You two can smell mainly. I love Sly Stallone. I love Rocky Balboa. He's pretty good. Hey, Adrian, why don't you take off your cap? Why don't you take off your shoes? Oh, Chingao. Oh, stop it. Getting hammered as a new meeting sense. Well, it depends on, how light you are on the loafers. Oh, man, I miss Emmanuel every single day. That was the coolest guy. And once again, Thomas and I were just talking about him. Two guys that we oh, hold on, let me say hello to our dear friend Sid UK. Good to see you, my friend. My brother in spirit. How are you doing tonight? Or how are you doing this morning, I should say, Sid? It's good to see you. As the King Nello fan club president, UK chapter, I think it should be Eubanks Jr. or Tim Tszyu in Australia next. Well, look. If you remembered seeing this last pay-per-view on DAZN, right? The undercard of the Beterbiev Bivol Spectacular. You already know that they're setting up for a 5-on-5, right? Well, no, it's not going to be 5-on-5 because he's signed with Boxer Eubanks Jr. And he actually called Frank Warren something bad in the last. So I think they're going to be setting up, though, in Saudi Arabia sometime next year. It's going to be Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn, right? I think that's what it's going to be. But I do think it is the wisest choice for Canelo at this time. While Eubank Jr. is still a hot commodity. Take on Eubank Jr. in the UK. That would be a huge fight and a great first appearance in the UK. What say you, Sid? Yep, we're not going to talk about that, Hawker. Yeah. Yeah. Salute to you, Beth. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah. Hey, Father Carmine. Just in case I get busted up, can you give me a blessing? Oh, jeez. Oh, no, don't say that. Mamma mia! I hate that shit. No, stop it. No, he used to make fun of guys who were a little light in the loafers. right? That's how he would characterize. That's how he would characterize guys who were a little questionable. I'd just say that. Barry Tompkins, I've never tried to do Barry. He is one of my heroes. He is one of the greats, guys. And I have no idea why Showtime decided to roll with Mauro Ranallo and not the great Barry Tompkins. Howard Cosell's more like he's a throwback guy. Like, well, let me tell you, champ. He's more like that, right? Do you remember why? Yeah, seriously, that's perfect. Strike while the irons are strike while the iron's hot. That's right. You know what, brother? That's not set in stone. But if you are Artur Beterbiev, why would you want to take an interim fight? And you're well into 40 now, instead of cashing in on a big money fight again with Turki Al-Sheikh. That is the dumbest shit. Once again, look, if I'm Artur Beterbiev, and we'll talk to Iceman John Scully about this week. We had him scheduled on Wednesday, but I'm sorry, guys. I had bronchitis and sinusitis. It was terrible. Yep. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Dude, that's one of the greatest calls of all time now, isn't it? I love Howard. He is one of the very best. And once again, guys, it's a real joy to listen to one of the boxing matches that he did, because he would actually make the call, because he's got his, obviously, look at his face. He got his start on radio, right? He was one of the very greats. And what made him so great was not just his vocabulary was extensive, because he was a writer also, but it was how he articulated things, and he described everything. Like, go back and listen to one of his calls, and he did it all by himself most of the time. He didn't need anyone else, and he didn't want anyone else doing the color commentary, because he was a guy who knew boxing, and he could describe everything beautifully. And there's the champ, Joe Frazier, and look at how majestic he is, walking like an absolute general up the steps he would describe everything so beautifully. And he was an inspiration and a real hero to all of us who have tried to do this on a professional level. Commentary, radio, everything. Like, he described everything so beautifully. So, guys, if you want a real treat, go back and listen to how Howard made the call for any one of his fights. You know, I do miss me some Larry Merchant and Jim Lampley calling the fights. They were the very best, in my opinion, the best tandem. Yeah, it not only brought a sense of class to the fights, right? It was it made a fight feel like a big time event. Every time you heard Jim Lampley say, "Harold, what are the rules to this?" "Okay, Jim." You know, anytime you heard that and heard the tail of the tape, ooh, you got butterflies, because you knew it was going on. It was going to happen right after that. They were the very best, in my opinion. And that's, in my opinion, that's what boxing needs and is sorely lacking at this time, is they need an announcer that feels like big-time boxing again, or a big-time sporting event. Because as much as I love Todd Grisham, and I have a lot of respect for him, he's a real pro, and he does a great job at directing traffic. One of the biggest difficulties of doing commentary and being the lead commentator, if you're working with two other guys there, it is not easy to direct traffic, right? It's not easy, and I've been doing this for a very long time. And no, I shared this story with G Funky, and I'm not going to do it live on the air, because I'm going to be having to work with him on the 23rd. But excuse me. Oh, this is Thomas Triber's favorite impression of mine. Dude, Thomas, such an ass sometimes, man. He wanted me to record doing Lupe Contreras, my impression of Lupe. He wanted me to record that for him. I had no idea who was going to send it to him. He sent it to Lupe, and Lupe was like, you know what, Thomas, I'm sorry. This sounds nothing like me. And the reason why I always used to do Nonito, him calling Nonito's name, was because he's the only ring announcer who would actually pronounce his surname the way it should be pronounced in Tagalog, right? The Filipino Flash, Nonito Donaire. Yeah, I love it. Paulie's a nut, man. Like, honestly, he's a little touched. Really smart guy. But he's a nut. Where I think I've stated this story before on the show. He was sparring with one of my guys, Benjamin Whitaker. And no, not that Benjamin Whitaker. The Blaxican, someone who used to be signed with Roy Jones. And we took him out to lunch immediately after, and I said, "Hey, Paulie, where do you want to go eat, man? We're in San Antonio, brother. You guys have a Jason's Deli anywhere? You guys have something like a Jason's Deli?" And I'm like, "Dude, we're in San Antonio, and you want to eat at a chain like Jason's Deli? Hi, no offense, Heron, but you guys aren't exactly the healthiest of people. You know what I'm saying?" And I'm like, "Kiss my ass." Oh my gosh. Did you talk to him about that? Did you tell him it was me, G Funky? Did you tell him it was me? Oh, so he verified that. So Thomas, Chingao. I'm sorry, I don't hear it. It sounds nothing like me. Another key to doing Lupe's impression is you've got to almost over-pronounce everything, like you're almost wearing a set of dentures that are too big for your mouth, right? Hecho en México, el gran campeón, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. You've got to overpronounce everything, like hard R's, and yeah, that. I'm sure he did a kick-ass job on Gabe Flores' event. I'm sure it was a lot of fun. But yeah, Lupe is such a nice guy, and he always, man, is really dapper, even at the weigh-ins and all of that. He's always dressed and represents himself extremely well, and he is a true professional. He could do a great job. And in fact, I was very saddened when Top Rank cut him and signed his name always eludes me, their newest ring announcer. We get to find out quién es más macho. Look, as much as I love Lupe, that has to be one of the worst catchphrases before a main event. I'm sorry. But for all of the amateur shows, I usually like to do Lupe. Right? Because that's the one that's very, very recognizable, right? I don't know what that means. Yeah. But Paulie, when we got there, I made the sad mistake of asking him. Hey, who is the hardest puncher that you've ever been in the ring with? And his eyes got as big as saucers, right? Oh my God, let me tell you something, man. This guy punched with bricks in his gloves, man. I mean, let me tell you, man. And he just went nuts and started getting up in the aisle and acting out the fight. And I'm like, dude, everyone's looking at, hey, no, seriously, let me finish it. Blah, blah, blah. And he just went off. And it was like a machine gun. You couldn't stop him. It was ridiculous. But I love Paulie. Yeah, he said Miguel Cotto. Man, let me tell you, man, Miguel Cotto, man, he punched me so fucking hard. Yeah, he's very, very emotional when he talks, to the point where it makes me feel like I'm the guy on what's it called, Ben Stein's Money. Bueller. I feel like him when I'm around Paulie Malignaggi. He characterizing it as carrying his emotions on his sleeve. That's an understatement. Yeah. No, he always liked Manny Pacquiao as a person. He just didn't like the fact that he was juicing to the nines. And that's common knowledge now, guys, because everyone in this business is doing it. And Paulie warned us about this a long time ago, and that's why I stopped covering that story as a journalist. Because I first got into this business as a journalist, right? But I don't know, but I wouldn't think so. He's such a health nut, right? But I will say his former promoter is always on Yayo, and that's Lou DiBella. Shit, did I say that out loud? Yeah, that's probably why he's voting for Kamala Harris. Shit, I wasn't supposed to say that either. Bugs Bunny on coke. Yeah, he does kind of sound like Bugs Bunny at times. He's got that same Brooklyn accent, too. Someone is rocking my dreamboat. I love it. Oh, but guys, let's do one more edition. Let's do this. Let's do, hold on, guys. Let me find this here. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Let's do one more of these and we'll call it a night. Okay, guys?
Terrible fan takes on Twitter/X.
Yeah. I don't. Okay, here's one I haven't done. Let's do this one, right? Hold on. Let's see. Let us pull this up. Just 1 second, guys. I'm sorry I didn't have this loaded yet. Hold on. No, Chingao. Like it already started playing. So let's do this. Hold on. Let me pull this up here. And we'll listen to this part of it. We'll talk about this one and then let's call it a night. Here it is. Our last terrible fan take on Twitter/X. Here it comes.
Undisputed to fight Canelo. They have amateur history. So, I've always heard these loopy things, and I'm surprised people haven't been throwing that out there in the air. The guy's 40 years old. They just fought in Riyadh season, so they're both seen as Riyadh season fighters. So, I'm really surprised no one's throwing that crazy-ass fight. Why not, right? I mean, people are talking about Crawford moving up 3 weight classes, so why can't we, as a boxing community, remain crazy and throw him versus Usyk as a mega super fight? Why not Better Be versus Usyk at heavyweight? Undisputed versus.
Okay, that's enough. Well, for the obvious reasons, because he stands to make so much more money in a much bigger fight against Tyson Fury. It's like, why would he want to fight Beterbiev for absolutely nothing? Guys, it's nothing, guys. Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, he always used to wear those. That's when he had the frosted blonde hair, I think it was. Yeah, he looked like a Guido in that fight, didn't he? And Jesus says, boxing is the only dumb sport that makes celebrities, boxers, not best popularity. Look, because it's not run like a sport, dude. Look, this is why we talk about the business of boxing so often, Jesus, so you guys understand why certain decisions are made and certain decisions aren't made, right? Because it's not run like a sport. It's run more like the music business, with the focal points not on the league, not on the sport, but on the individual personalities and fighters. That's why it works doing commercial YouTuber circus events. And you know what? Unfortunately, you can make a case for, hey, those are the ones that attract the eyeballs of the mainstream and casuals. Now, what I love about this Paul, or this, what's his name? Jake Paul, Mike Tyson event, is he has stacked this card with a lot of young, hungry, young, good fighters. Like, honestly, I'm stoked to see the outcome of Barrios versus Ramos. I think that's a great fight. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how Shushu Carrington does. I'm really looking forward to this event, guys. And if it attracts eyeballs to this legitimate boxing talent, then, hey, I'm all for it. If it makes boxing, if it increases the interest of the sport, then I'm all for it. But look, it has to sizzle on the big stage. I'm praying for a Mike Tyson knockout in the first round. Look, I will say this. He is one of the faces of boxing in the American market, with Ryan Garcia and Canelo Alvarez above him. Because let's just face it, how did Jake Paul's last event do without Mike Tyson? Not good, guys. It was on free subscriber to Zone. That's the spirit, Double L. Good to see you, my friend. Look, here's the truth about PBC, guys. And once again, we stress this a lot, and we stress the business of this a lot. They were the very worst. Now, once again, this was before Tom Brown got involved, and even then, it was too late. The reason why PBC is in the situation that they're in, they didn't do a very good job in cultivating. Look, dude, you're telling me something I don't know. Of course I know he's Mexican, but he's still the face of boxing in America, right? Because of the huge Hispanic population that supports boxing. And if you look at pay-per-view sales, yeah, they're the only ones still purchasing this shit. It's definitely not Devin Haney's fans. Those are guys that talk a good game on social media, but don't pay for shit. Yeah, man, Floyd Schofield fights on November 2nd. He's fighting a very good fighter. It's going to be his toughest test to date. A guy who Gogi's lightweight was sparring with for the past month. And they've been giving him really good work and some really good looks that are going to be replicated by Floyd Schofield. And so he says that this guy's going to be ready and is going to prove to be Floyd Schofield's toughest opponent to date. And that's what he needs at this point. He needs some seasoning because he's definitely not ready for the Tank Davises, the Williams Zepedas, the Shakur Stevensons, not even the Frank Martins. He's not ready for those guys. And in the co-main event, it's going to be David Stevens versus Bektamir Malakuziev, right? It's going to be great. Yes, Shushu Carrington is still signed with Top Rank. But this is such a great opportunity in front of a large... Excuse me, guys. They're expecting Netflix, a live audience that can only be rivaled by the NFL or Major League Baseball or the NBA. They're looking at a potential live audience between 50 and 60 million observers live. I don't know if he's going to be upset and lose like Chris Colbert because he's got more power. than Chris Colbert. I really felt bad for Chris this past Wednesday. And I really like Chris Colbert. He's a good dude. But he just doesn't have any crack in his shot for 35. And he doesn't have the greatest set of whiskers any longer, obviously. In fact, he resembled somewhat of a shot fighter. I think that's pretty much it. Keith One-Time Thurman. Once upon a time Thurman looking for a fight. Man, come on. Come on, dude. This is a guy who's fought once in the past 5 years. Tickets for that event are ridiculously priced. Yeah, but it's almost sold out, brother. AT&T Stadium, right? Yeah, I really felt bad for Chris. He's a good dude. I really like Chris Colbert. But yeah, he's he just doesn't have any crack in his shot, and he can't handle, doesn't have the whiskers for the power punches at 35. Look, put it this way. Whatever he was going to accomplish in the sport of boxing, it's already happened. Diaz versus Floyd. Good bout test for Floyd. May seem upset. Look, Rene Diaz is a tough guy. And he can take a good shot. And he's going to be on Floyd's ass from start to finish. Put it this way. Schofield is going to have to earn his money. A lot of tickets left. Like, what does that mean? A lot. Have they even sold 40,000 yet? Yeah, Jesus has the beat. Diaz is a very tough guy. And don't be shocked if he hurts Floyd Schofield. We'll see, guys. We'll see what happens. I'm really looking forward to this event. I'm really looking forward to the entire card. Golden Boy, they've been putting on great cards all year round. And in my opinion, they're the leader for promoter of the year in the American market. Yeah, they're doing a great job this year. And they're really working hard to try and cultivate attractions, unlike many, many promoters. In my opinion, Top Rank still is the very best, with Brad Goodman and Bruce Trampler, at cultivating, nurturing prospects the right way. And once again, PBC, that's why they're in the position they're in, because they weren't worth a shit in cultivating prospects, throwing them in way too tough, way too soon. Guys, that's the problem, coming full circle in this discussion. That's the problem that we all have with this TSZYU debacle. They had a legitimate attraction, throwing them in with the Wolves way too soon. You would have thought that they would have gotten the memo from that Fundora debacle. It's like, man, give this guy a tune-up first. I don't care what he wants. His handler should have known. Shit. Anyway, yeah. Look. Colbert, he's shot. Now think about how much worse his legs would be if he tried to lose another 5 pounds. Yep. That's exactly right. That's exactly what Gogi and I were talking about last night. It's like, guys, go back and listen to last night's show with Gogi. And it's so fascinating hearing Gogi talk about everything boxing. And we're so fortunate to have a real gem like Coach Gogi on every single week. Like most guys, when you hear him break down a fight or even talk about the business, most guys aren't nearly as candid as Maestro James Gogi. But he is a real bar of gold. And I love Gogi. He's one of my best friends in this business and in life. And I'm telling you guys right now, if Coach Gogi didn't want to do the channel any longer, I don't think I would want to be able to do it. I don't think I'd be able to or want to do it either. Coach Gogi is my brother, man, and he is War Week Boxing. And yeah, we're so lucky to be able to speak with him every single week. W.A.W, thank you for hanging with me, brother. And he says, is Tim Tszyu shot? Yep. Unfortunately, brother, he did. And that's why I'm saying, guys, it's like, yeah, he got his ass whooped and it was destroyed. And honestly, I'll be shocked if he can make a comeback. And if he does make a comeback, stay on the island, the continent of Australia. Stay there. You don't have anything to prove in America. America has become the place where attractions go to die. I hate to say that, but guys, boxing in the American market has become a joke where all of our best talent are pricing themselves out like they're worth a shit. And it keeps them inactive, and it keeps us from seeing the best matchups available. That's what Tank Davis is going through at this time. He wants too much damn money where it leaves nothing left over for anyone else. Dude, are you a sadist, Iceman? Oh, thank you for hanging with me, Trump. Why is Zayas ranked number 3 for the WBO? Who is he fighting? Well, look, it has nothing to do with that. It's his promoter, homie. That's why I put no credence in the rankings of the sanctioning organizations. The only ranking that's worth a shit in any division is the ring. That's it. And the best part about the ring is they don't tax any of these fighters' purses. They're in it for the sport of it. That's what I'm saying, guys. Do yourselves a favor and quit regarding any of these sanctioning organizations because they're not worth the shit. Their rankings are terrible. I know, my friend. Yeah. My brother in Christ. Iceman. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for hanging with me. So, guys, we're almost an hour, 50 minutes in. I'm going to take one last break to show you one last video, guys. And this is, I love this one. This is one of my favorites from Numbers, okay?
Numbers 14 tells a pivotal story in the journey of the Israelites. It's a chapter filled with lessons for tough times. The Israelites were on the brink of entering the Promised Land, but fear and doubt took hold of them. They sent 12 spies to scout Canaan. 10 returned with a discouraging report, saying the land was filled with giants. The people were terrified and began to rebel, wanting to return to Egypt. Caleb and Joshua urged the people to trust in God's promise. They believed that with God's help, they could conquer the land. God declared that only Caleb and Joshua would enter the Promised Land. Reflect on their courage and faith. Trust in your journey and know that the Promised Land is ahead.
Guys, thank you for once again being with me on tonight. And once again, guys, excuse me. Once again, pray about the future of this country, guys. Because I've got some prophetic words from the Holy Spirit that I'm going to be talking about later on this week. I'm just praying for greater discernment and clarity before I talk to all of you guys about it. But, yeah, and I advise all of you guys, I recommend all of you guys and urge all of you guys to pray for the future of this country and how you should vote. I hope you guys all registered to vote. Today was the last day. So, guys, consult the greatest counselor this world has, and that's the Holy Spirit. Pray about it. Pray about how you should vote and who deserves your support next week. Okay? Once again, guys, God bless all of you. And Let's say a quick prayer before we leave, guys, okay? In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for giving us this wonderful day and bringing us all together like this. We love you and we praise you. Please have mercy on our sinfulness, in our thoughts, in our words, what we have done and what we have failed to do. Please forgive us and have mercy on our souls. And please grant us your peace, grant us your grace, and fill our hearts with the Holy Spirit so we can walk in spirit on the daily with your Son, Jesus Christ. We love you and we praise you, Heavenly Father, and please protect our beloved USA. Protect our country and protect and give us your divine intercession and your protection, and give all of the non-believers, fill them with the Holy Spirit so they can see the light and they can recognize Jesus Christ and the Holy Trinity, and let them be their guide. In your sacred and powerful name, Jesus Christ, we pray. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you, Heavenly Father, and thank all of you guys for being with me tonight. And once again, keep the future of this nation in your prayers, because we're going to need it, guys, in the road ahead. Keep your eyes focused on the Holy Trinity. And don't look for any politicians to unite this country. There's only one supernatural power that can, and that's our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. God bless all of you and have a wonderful week. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow. We've got a doubleheader back-to-back. Ronnie Shields at 8 p.m. Eastern and Rick Glazier at 9 p.m. Eastern, guys. A doubleheader tomorrow. So, guys, thank you for being with me tonight. God bless all of you. And don't forget, always choose to walk in spirit, not in the natural.
Vashon Holdings proudly presents War Week Radio Chats with ring announcer Joseph Herron.